Hello, all you big tuna fans. Yes, it is another day. Wow, such a great audience I have. That's amazing. So here's the story I'm about to tell you. This is something that really pisses me off, and if you wonder why I'm driving slow, it's because I'm in my truck, not the vehicle that Lembley 3 sold me. My truck's a little bit louder, so I have to go slow so you can hear me. So anyways, this car that Lembley had sold me, one day started squeaking. And it just so happened to sound like the exact same problem I once had on this truck that I'm driving. And anyways, I took it into the shop, and I'm like, hey, I gotta work during your hours, so I'm just gonna leave it here overnight. You figure out what's wrong with it, you call me, and I'll decide from there what we're gonna do. Well, okay, so that happened, and anyways, they told me my rack and pinion was bad, and whatever, somebody apparently let the power steering fluid run empty, and because of that, the gears were, power steering pump, went through hell and yada yada, and so the rack and pinion was bad. And I'm like, okay, so how much is that gonna cost? And they're like, oh, good $600. And then I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to do that. Then they decide to say, and that might not fix the noise. And I'm like, well, okay, so that sounds a little fishy. So I'm kind of all pissed off, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to pick it up after I get off of work, and then I'll decide. I'll look around, see what I'm going to do. And finally, like 4 weeks later, I get another day off from work during their hours. And I go in, I'm looking for the manager and the mechanic that looked at my car. And of course, the manager wasn't there because it happened to be a Saturday. But the mechanic was, and he was upset to find that I didn't really care what he had told me about the diagnosis, that was wrong. Anyways, I got him to come out to my car, and I picked my car up, and just the front end, and I'm like, does this sound like a rack and pinion to you? And he's like, oh, that's the strut. And he's like, oh, I don't know what you want me to do. And I'm like, well, you guys told me once what was wrong with it, and it was costing $600. And so anyways, he's like, well, I'll give you another estimate, and yada yada. And I'm like, okay, fine, let's do that. And so another $650 later, he said he would have the problem fixed. I wasn't feeling what he was telling me, so I went to a auto parts store, happened to be O'Reilly's, and I was gonna, check out some prices for struts and yada yada. And I asked a guy who was gonna sell me these parts if he would just come out and just see what he thought, if it was a strut or not. And he came out, and he said he didn't think it was a strut. He actually thought it was a spring where it contacts there. And I'm like, I don't know. And then I told him I was pissed off at these dealerships or these mechanics trying to take advantage of me. Like if I were a blonde bimbo with like massive tits, didn't understand things, or just anybody who didn't understand things. Don't take any offense to all you fine blonde women with large breastises. It doesn't mean you're stupid. Anyways, he told me somebody that he trusts. And I took it to this guy, and $36.55 later, he had my car fixed. No squeaking, no nothing. Had I brought it to this here place that's behind me, I don't know if you can see it and hear it all, but had I brought it to this place, I would have paid over $1,300 and still not had my car fixed. Yes, as you can see, this is Koplin Auto Care since 1917. I am not a fan of these guys. What a fucking ripoff. So anyways, that's what really pisses me off. I think I'm gonna write a letter to them and at least demand my $40 back that they charged me when they were diagnosing what the problem initially was with my car and all that good stuff. And if I actually end up getting any subscribers, I'm gonna create a fun game for you. So we're not so amateur, and it's gonna be fun. Okay, guys. Trust me, you'll like it. The beginning of every one of my videos, there's gonna be something. You're not gonna know what it is. You have to guess, and hopefully you can guess by the end of the video. I will show you. Dun 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 dun. Okay, bye.